Will there be anything else, ma'am?
You tell me. Will there?
It might be better without the brooch.
It's too much? Yes, it's too much. Right. That's it. Mrs. Morris.
I'm Mrs. Fane. Mrs. Morris is over there.
Mrs. Russell. Mrs. George Russell. And this is my daughter, Gladys. From further up Fifth Avenue. On the corner of 61st Street.
But of course, that new house we've all been talking about. How good of you to come. Let me introduce you to Mrs. Russell, Mrs. Morris.
How do you do?
Mrs. Russell has come here today with her daughter from their new house on the corner of 61st and 5th. It's just been finished. You must know the one I mean.
How thrilling.
Who built it for you?
Our architect trained in Europe, Mr. Stanford White. You must pay us a visit.
How brave. Not to go with the same old builders everyone else uses.
I don't think we should be afraid of new things. Or new people.
How often we have said to each other, we must know the family who live in that marvelous house every time we drive past. And here you are. I hope we can persuade you to an interest in our cause.
As you say, I'm here.
And you, of course, Miss Russell. I trust you'll take our part.
I certainly intend to.
My daughter isn't out yet. She's only here to accompany me.
Surely charitable work is good for the spirit at any age.
It depends.
Who's that? Mrs. Chamberlain. Mrs. Augustus Chamberlain.
She seems to know as few people as I do.
Oh, I think she knows a good many of the women here.
They just don't want to know her.
Aurora. Aunt Ada, you are good.
Nonsense.
How is Aunt Agnes? Is she coming?
I am her ambassadress, and this is Miss Marion Brooke, our late brother's daughter.
How do you do, Miss Brooke? You know, my uncle was married to your aunt, and I think we're cousins anyway through the Livingstons. Are you in New York for long?
Marion has come to live with us, and she wants to help out with the charity if she can be useful.
Oh, this is manna from heaven. I'll send a note this very afternoon. I'm so sorry. This is Miss Brooke, Miss Marion Brooke.
Mrs. Russell and Miss Russell. We are neighbors, I think.
Of course we are.
Not that splendid new palace right on the avenue.
The very one.
I was looking up at those rows of windows only this morning, wondering what lies behind them.
Then you must cross the road and see. Isn't that so, Gladys?
If Miss Brooke could spare the time.
Of course.
I think we should go in. Don't tell Aunt Agnes they were here. She'd be livid with me.
She'll find out.
I feel rather sorry for the girl.
I likes them.
That's not the point.
What is the point?
Let's face it, Aunt Ada, we need money. And you know how much those women give when they want to get in.
There's a price for that, Aurora, and it's no good thinking you won't have to pay it.
Who's that?
That's Mrs. Chamberlain.